Let's get straight into it, Harmy. Then it's the last week of term. It's the last week of the World T20 World Cup, and England have done what you didn't think they would and reached the last four. You didn't have them in your last four.
No.
I didn't either. But so, um, you know, there, is there a sense that, not overachieved, but they have done well. The irony for me is that they were the first team into the semi-finals and probably the least convincing.
Yeah, first team in, least convincing. I don't think they've overachieved. No, I think they've done enough, and I think they've had enough moments in the tournament by individuals, which I think have carried England to the position they're in. I don't think they can afford any more of them moments where the big players haven't arrived, like Jos and like Phil Salt and people like that. I had Australia there. I think many others did.
Yeah.
They were woeful. They really were woeful. But a sign of a good side when you can get yourselves in a position to get over the line from not a lost cause. I don't think England were in any lost causes when Will Jacks has got them out of trouble. But I think England will say we've got the right people at the right places and going in with the right skill sets at the right time. I beg to differ a little bit on that one, but look, when I see them in the semi-final and give themselves a chance. Yeah, they give themselves a chance. I think if they were to do what West Indies did, which would be to go win the toss, bat first, and get a 196 score at the Wankhede, I think England will defend that because I think England's got better bowlers, spin bowlers especially, than what the West Indies have. But that's a long way off with the way the top order is firing at this moment in time. But you give a huge amount of credit. We've all been, and this is where I think we need to give credit to McCullum. I really do think we need to give credit to McCullum because a hell of a lot of us, and I've been one of the guilty ones who have not just called for his head, but been critical of the way the team has been behaved and performed over the course of the last 6 months. There's been some big calls in this tournament. Will Jacks to bat 7, Harry Brook to go up to number 3. All these calls, Rehan Ahmed to come in and play, they've all come. And I'm not saying they've all been McCullum, but if you're going to criticise the environment and he leads the environment, you have to praise the environment because he leads the environment. He's made some big calls during this tournament and they've worked. They really have worked. And it's now a chance, hopefully, to back them up and get over the line in the semi-finals, potentially get themselves in a final. Because you'd argue now the final is easier than the semi-final because obviously England play India in home on their own back garden. So I think what I will say is credit to McCullum on this because of the calls he's been heavily involved in mid have not only come off, but they've got England in a position to be in the semi-final, which is full credit to the coach and the leader.
2 points to make. If I said to you before the tournament started that Jos Buttler wouldn't score a single boundary in his first 5 innings in the tournament, you probably would have said, well, they've got no chance of reaching the last 4 in that case. So my question is, even for somebody like Jos Buttler, who's been one of the world's best for, a good part of the last decade, even somebody like him, who knows that there are swings and roundabouts and ups and downs, is it, you've been world's number one, and when you it only takes a couple of overs of bowling rubbish for the doubts to start creeping in, doesn't it?
It does, yeah, and I'm sure Jos has got them doubts. I'm not sure he's tinkering with technique or anything like that, but he'd be tinkering in mind. And the tinkering in mind, and I always talk about that Spanish waiter on your right hand side, telling you as a world class number 11, I can hit every ball out of the ground for 6. And when you chip one up in the air, you look like an idiot, and you look for him, he's not there. I think Jos has got he's got the doubts in his mind. He will have. He's human, but he's still got the talent in his body and talent in his hands. And the biggest thing he's got is talent under pressure. And I think under the utmost pressure of the semi-final, I've said this a couple of times to John Norman, I still wouldn't want anybody else in English colours walking out to bat as an opener just yet. I mean, we're not sticking with Jos Buttler like we stick. I don't want to sort of highlight Zach Crawley and Ollie Pope. We're not sticking with Jos Buttler like Ollie Pope and Zach Crawley get stuck with in the Test match team. We're sticking with Jos Buttler because we know he's the best that there is. He's the best we've ever had, and he will. I've got no doubt will come good. But there will be a nagging doubt, not because of his age, because he's had a couple of low scores. It unfortunately it happens. But again, I think you're right. If he had said he wouldn't score a boundary in them games, you wouldn't have many people betting on it because, and you'd expect England would have a tournament like Australia if that was the case. So it just shows you how well the likes of the middle order and the lower middle order, likes of Sam Curran and Will Jacks have done for England, because the top 4 or 5, other than moments of brilliance, have not really fired. I mean, they haven't. Harry's had 150. Jos hasn't. He's had a couple of 20s. Phil Salt's had a score. Jacob Bethel's had fits and starts, but the majority of the time England have gone into the sort of latter part of the second half, or sorry, the middle part of the second half. And Sam Curran and Will Jacks has either had to put a fire out or go and win a game. And fair play to England for keep going and getting themselves in this position.
The irony to me is that I could be completely wrong about this. Is that Will Jacks seems to have fallen into that role that he's in at the moment by default, because that was the only one available to him, and he's got 4 Player of the Match awards, which, by the way, equals the tournament record of Shane Watson, who also picked up 4 Player of the Match awards in the 2012 edition of the World Cup. But credit to him, it's not even a role that he's done domestically that often. If it's turning, he's a bowler, and he's got a finish at number 7, and boy, he's doing it sensationally.
He is, and he's just a good player, isn't he? He is a good player. There is a good player in there. When England took Will Jacks to Australia, I mean, there was a lot of eyebrows raised and question marks. I wasn't. I mean, I've always known this boy as a player. I was a batter who bowls, and he didn't expect him to play 4 Test matches as a frontline spin bowler. But at the end of the day, there's a good player in there. We've seen sometimes in the winter as well. In Australia that he calm under pressure. I think there was was it Brisbane when him and Ben batted over late towards the end of the night and showed their fighting qualities and their defensive work as opposed to his attacking array of shots. I expected him didn't expect him to go to 3 when Harry went to 3 because he was doing such a good job at 7. But I think if you were looking for a number 3, a right-handed number 3 out of what England have got, you'd probably say with his franchise displays, his IPL displays, 100 display, you'd expect more suited that Will Jacks would be happier up the top of the order. But he's found himself a role there at the bottom now, which a little bit like, I don't think Harry needs to move from 3 for quite a long time. And I think, unfortunately for Will Jacks, I think he's going to bat 7 for the foreseeable future in a 20-over game for England and potentially in franchise cricket. So, if he likes facing a new ball and he gets out there early, and, there'll be teams, I'm sure. RCB, when he was at RCB, he was a top ender. He might go back to the top end for the Oval Invincibles, but I can't see him batting any higher than 7 for England. Especially the way Sam Curran's batted as well. I think that dynamic has gone really well for England. Curran and Jacks at 6 and 7, left and right in combination. 2 of them know each other really, really well. And they've dug England out of a hole just a couple of times, and I quite like that. We've just got to get the bits in the middle right, and hopefully in the semi-final or the final, that will happen.
Yeah, it's interesting that that England have got a guy with an IPL 100 batting at number 7. 2 more questions though for you quickly. The Wankhede pitch is one of the most malleable, changeable in the world, I reckon. It can turn sideways, and it can also, if it's a fresh wicket, offer a bit of pace and bounce. So that can change a lot. One thing that can't change is the speed of the outfield and the size of the boundaries. It's quite a small stadium. It can be very high scoring. So England will have a question and it'd be interesting, because the Indian team don't mind an instruction or two to to their local groundsman. So it'd be interesting, I mean, it's the end of the tournament. It's the end of the season. It will take some turn. But the question, selection question between Rehan Ahmed and Jamie Overton is going to be really, really interesting.
Yeah.
If it's going to turn, do they play Rehan? With that Indian top seven, top eight, whew, he has a bad day. He's going for 50 or more.
Yeah, do you know what? I mean, do you know what I'm like? While we're left fielders, I just wonder if England, and I've just said how well Sam Curran's gone with Will Jacks. I wonder if England are thinking of playing them both because Jacob Bettel can't bowl. He's got a busted finger. He got a cut in his finger. We seen the last game. He bowled one over for 13, and you could see it wasn't right. Could England potentially play them both and put Sam Curran where he bats in IPL cricket at number 4, and Rehan do the number 6 role with Jamie Overton at number 8? So I don't think they'll go that way. I still think they might have a look at the Bethel option. I've always thought England were a seamer short, so leaving Overton out on a pitch which could go through a little bit more than what a normal subcontinent pitch does, and that big tall bowler to hit the pitch if the pitch has got either a bit of pace in it or it's just got no bounce in it whatsoever, and then a little bit of inconsistency. Because Jamie does bowl well when there's any surface which has got a little bit of inconsistency in. I'd be tempted to try and get them both in the side, but that would mean leaving a batter out, and that would be a big call. So it'll come down to the surface. And do you know what? Like I've said earlier, McCullum, credit to him, the way his calls have gone so far in this World T20. I'll back him to make the right call. It wouldn't surprise me if Rehan stays in the side.
I think that's a bonkers idea, Homie, leaving a batsman out. Honestly. Anyway, a reminder that Harmy will be back alongside John Norman for a live edition of Following On Thursday afternoon on talkSPORT 2 and the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel at about 5:30 to bring you immediate reaction to England's semi-final against India. Okay, let's talk about the other semi-final, Harmy, South Africa against New Zealand. There's been a few wags on social media saying it's that England against India is a contest to see who will be beaten by South Africa in Ahmedabad on Sunday. How things have changed. South Africa with a perfect 7-0 record. New Zealand with, I don't know whether Lockie Ferguson has made it back, but Matt Henry's still in New Zealand on what they call parental leave for the birth of his second child. Lockie Ferguson, both these guys were selected in the knowledge that their respective wives were due to give birth during the tournament, which I think is, I think it's a wonderful empathy from New Zealand cricket, to be honest. But the two ways of looking at this, I think South Africa have been unstoppable. They're in the form of their lives. And therefore they're due to lose because very few teams win 8 in a row. Very few teams win World Cups without losing a game. So the reason I think it might be different, Harmy, is that South Africa have had a propensity to choke in the final stages of these tournaments. To lose a game they should have won. Well, they did choke, but they choked in their first game, the very first game against Afghanistan. And you'll be able to explain this more than me. I think that has just given them this world of belief and confidence because they blew it against Afghanistan and it didn't hurt them. They blew it and won.
Yeah, and again, you can throw the sort of comparison with England, where England have played some good cricket, some bad cricket, but they've learned how to get over the line. South Africa have done that in that first game. They were out of. Can you imagine the noise and the negativity around South African cricket if they hadn't won that first game against Afghanistan, and then the pressure going into the rest of the games? I'm not sure. When you win a close game as a team, you win a close game. All of a sudden, you feel invincible. You feel 10 foot tall because you know for a fact, one, you don't want to put yourself in that position again. But two, if you do put yourself in that position again, we've got the tools to get us out of that and still win a game. England have done that consistently. South Africa did it once. South Africa are the best team in this tournament I've seen so far. But it comes down to semi-final, and sometimes it comes down to brilliance. So, yes, Lockie Ferguson could be back. I can't see Matt Henry being back. That's a shank. That is a colossal backing forward to get back to being in a position to play. Especially the way the airspace is over the Middle East at this moment in time. So I think that could be a big call to try and get Matt Henry back, who will be a huge loss because Henry's been fantastic in this tournament. But, and there's a big but, I mean, there's some dangerous batters at the top of that order for South Africa, for New Zealand. And if you don't get it quite right, Eden Gardens, you could chase 200. You have to chase 200, and then you're under the ultimate pressure. So I don't think the pressure has hit South Africa just yet. I think that tight situation, can they handle having to chase like India did 196 to get themselves through the quarterfinal stage into a semi-final stage? Can they do that in the semi-final? What I will say is that they look a well-oiled machine. They don't look as though they've got a weakness. They've got a top order that have got power. They've got a middle order that have got experience and the know-how of getting themselves through to the business overs of the last four. And their all-round bowling attack I think, is as good as you'll get a 5-man attack for a T20 competition. So it could come down to a moment of brilliance. And if the moment of brilliance is Glenn Phillips taking a ridiculous diving catch or getting 60 off 25 balls to take a total from 180 to 200, then it could be difficult for South Africa. But at this main time, they're the best team I've seen in this tournament. But sometimes in T20 competitions, the best team doesn't always win, especially when you're 7 from 7. The 8th one is a hard game to win. The 9th one's even harder, especially when you've only had a little bit of negativity when teams have give you a good game.
Right, onto the 100 draft. Haris Rauf, Shaheen Shah Afridi, and mystery spinner Usman Tariq are among 14 Pakistan players to have been shortlisted for the auction for the 2026 100. The original long list, which was very, very long indeed, has been cut down to just 243 players. Rauf is among the marquee players. So there's that to look out for. George Dobell was absolutely fascinating on last week's show talking about this. I desperately hope it doesn't blow up. I mean, I think some of the, remember there are 4 teams which don't have Indian investment, and if they buy a couple of Pakistani players, and hopefully the doubters will be satisfied. But I hope it's sincere. Anyway, there's that side of it. There's also Ben Stokes and Moeen Ali's absence from that shortlist. They're not in the auction, Harmy.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a left field, strange one. I understand a little bit the Moeen one. Maybe Moeen just has had enough. I'd quickly get him into a coaching team. If I was ECB, I'd be encouraging one of them 8 to get him into a coaching role, either assistant coach at Birmingham Phoenix or somewhere. I mean, yeah, I was going to say if he can find an English coach in the 100 and then make sure Moen's his assistant, because I'd want to fast track Moen's coaching credibilities to get him in the pathway from that point of view. Ben, I understand. I've not spoke to Ben. I've not had any dealings with him other than when he got hit in the face, because my son was there when it happened. He wants to be England captain, Test captain, and if he thinks the 100's getting in the way, or he thinks the 100 might be a little bit of a bridge too far for the body, then I've got no problem with that. And I applaud him for doing it. I applaud Ben Stokes for doing it, because the hundreds come and it's about money now. It's been sold for a lot of money. These players are now getting, and I've got no problem with this, and I think it's great. The players are getting nearly twice the amount of money that we're getting before, which I find it quite difficult to take, that your bang average player who's never going to play international cricket is getting double what he got before for the same competition. It really doesn't make much sense from a business and a financial point of view. But hey ho, that's it. But I understand that, if Ben Stokes is saying, I'm contracted for 11 months of the year for the ECB, if I don't want to do anything for the other month, why should I? He doesn't need the money, doesn't need the hassle. He'll end up having to be a marquee player and a signature player, which means the marketing team will drag him from here, there, and everywhere for 3 or 4 days before a tournament. Something he doesn't need. He's got young children. Hey, hats off. I mean, I gave up one-day cricket for 3 years because my kids were young and I didn't like traveling. And every time a test series finished, I was like, right, I'm going on holiday. I'll play for Durham, I'll go on holiday. Now, Ben Stokes might want to go and take his family on holiday. Ben Stokes might want to play a couple of games for Durham. That's might. I'm just saying it's might. But the one thing I do know for a fact, he wants to be England captain, test match captain, and he wants to be the best test match captain. And I think he's got one eye on redemption when it comes to the Ashes in 2027. And if he decides that the 100's going to sit in his way, I'm 100% behind him. I'm 100% behind him. He just wants to be England captain. So let him be England captain and keep him away from these 100 marketing teams. And that, I think, would be that's brilliant for English cricket because our leader wants to just lead the England cricket team. As for the Pakistan side of it, I hope they get picked up. If it is for the only 4 that teams, then so be it. So be it. I understand the arguments and everything that goes with it, and fine. If the Indian owners don't want to pick them up, it doesn't sit nicely, but it's their choice. There's plenty of Pakistan players to go around for the other teams. What I will say is that there's not many Pakistan players that I'd choose at this moment in time. Afridi, yes, if he turns up like he did in the latter part of the tournament. Tariq, definitely, I would take him. I'm not so sure on Haris Rauf. Really not so sure on Haris Rauf. And you're not taking Babar Azam. Farhan, I probably would take at the top of the order. Possibly Fakhar Zaman, but even that, not so sure. So there's only maybe 3 or 4 Pakistani players I would take if I was a DOC of one of the 100 sides, thinking they can improve my team. People might not like that opinion, but at the end of the day, that's it. There's not many Pakistan players that are screaming at me to say pick me, other than possibly the opening batter, left arm opening bowler, and the mystery spinner. 1 or 2 you could possibly pick up, but not many others.
Okay, Harmy, just very, very quickly, staying with Pakistan, the PCB have announced that they're fining the team $18,000 for a substandard performance on the field. Now, you've been fined plenty of times for things like stowing away and drinking too much on a luxury yacht in the Caribbean, and 1 or 2 other misdemeanors off the field. Can you explain just how preposterous it is to fine cricketers for not reaching the semi-finals?
I think that's ridiculous. I think that's ridiculous. I mean, it's one of the. I thought it was a joke when I first seen it. I thought it was a joke. It is. It is. The ultimate pressure that Pakistan's on in a minute with the geopolitics, sports politics that's going around the world with obviously what's happening with the BCCI and the ICC is putting Pakistan cricketers under even more pressure. So for their own board to even put them under more pressure from a performance point of view. I mean, I heard Michael Vaughan talking about, and 1 or 2 other people talk about the political side in Pakistan is holding them back, is holding them back because every time there's a tournament, there's a new selection panel, there's a new coach. We heard what Jason Gillespie had to say, our good friend Jason Gillespie and our good friend Gary Kirsten when all that went wrong. If Pakistan can get their house in order with a stable selection unit, a stable coaching team, and no political interference picking their players, they'll have a brilliant side. But while they keep fining players $20,000 for not getting to a semi-final, which they weren't really going to get to anywhere, I mean, if one of the big stars turned around and went, right, I'm not playing for Pakistan anymore, I'll see you later, he will get absolutely nailed. Absolutely nailed. And do you know what? I really wouldn't. I wouldn't be surprised if that would. Yeah, sorry. That would happen. He would get criticised because he's leaving Pakistan. He's not playing for them anymore. He's going to go and play franchise cricket wherever they can get in around the world. Can you imagine the hoo-ha in Pakistan for that player turning his back on them? But when you're treating them like this, I mean, it wouldn't surprise. I mean, it's wrong. It is. It's wrong. And I've been fined, like you say, many things for many stupid things that I've owned up and I've done. But this one would be a hard one to take for me. If I was a Pakistan player, I think I'd be taking doors off hinges in the establishment above to say, what is going on and why is this? We are getting pelters from outside, from everywhere. At least we can protect our own. Is this protecting their own? I
No.
don't think it is.
I know. Okay. Well, just before we move on to the final word, I have to mention that George Munsey, the Scottish opener, has been signed by Nottinghamshire for the Blast. That's
Very
fantastic.
good.
Really, really good. I mean, and I think it's as much of a vote of confidence in the Associate Nations as a whole.
100%. Totally agree with you. And be a good signing. And I'm all for that. I'm all for that. Even I know we've got some harebrained ideas about first class cricket and getting Ireland and Netherlands and Scotland involved. You know, Associated Nations, one player from Associated Nations to get into the Blast, I think wouldn't be a bad shout either. Because I mean, we have to help Associated Nations from where we are geographically in the world cricket map. And I think helping players like George Munsey, who are a level above, who could be pushing to play at a county's first division team for on merit and not as an overseas player.
I'm delighted to say that we're joined now by England captain Nat Sciver-Brunt. It's 100 days to go before the start of the ICC Women's T20 World Cup, Nat. It feels like it's quite hard on the heels of the 50 over World Cup. They're quite close together, aren't they? But I guess it's still 100 days to go. But the momentum is building, isn't it? That 50 over World Cup was a heck of an event. I think it was honestly a turning point for women's cricket. I think that any concept that it was a niche. The audience was a sort of a niche audience was gone. I mean, it was absolutely brilliant tournament, and I think that we're seeing that now in the build up to the T20 World Cup.
Yeah, exactly. I guess there's a big event most years now, so like you say, it doesn't feel like that long since we finished in the World Cup. But yeah, I mean, 100 days to go. You can feel the excitement building here. I mean, obviously there's a bit of time to go before the season starts, but yeah, I mean, being here at Edgbaston, it just is bringing all the memories back from previous times we played here, and just the crowd energy that you get. I mean, it's brilliant, isn't it?
No, I mean on home soil, you got the semi-final. Like Manners was saying, what a great tournament the last global tournament was. But you must fancy your chances on home soil. Manners said about the momentum going with you. Where do you see the sort of the bridging of the next step, getting beyond the semi-final into the final and going and win it? Is it as simple as we know the home conditions and we should have an advantage on others?
Yeah, I think it definitely gives us a little bit of an advantage. I mean, we still have to play some really good cricket. And I guess one thing we know about T20 cricket is anything can happen. And it's a game that can change so quickly. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But I mean, yeah, what an opportunity we have to get to a final in a home World Cup. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better chance for it, really, as captain myself. And yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to it.
Must have been a heck of a 12 months for you, becoming captain, becoming a mum, and the last 12 months under Charlotte Edwards as well. A lot has changed. How would you sum it up?
Yeah, you're right. A lot has changed. I suppose personally, I've had to sort of prioritize things differently, and yeah, I suppose working my training to Theo's schedule rather than thinking about my schedule first. But yeah, I mean, cricket-wise, obviously a lot has changed as well, and Lottie is obviously a person who cares really deeply about England women's cricket. So having that passion and that drive at the very top, I think, has filtered down into everyone. And yeah, I guess we've probably got a lot more learning and ways to go as a group, but we're on a great track at the moment, and yeah, I guess really excited to use the 100 days that we have before the tournament to yeah, I suppose get ourselves into a brilliant position to go out there and perform.
You say you're on a great track. I think you were talking about cricket now. You look at the Lionesses in football in 2022 when they won the Euros. Is that the driving force that you can take women's cricket to the next level by winning at home? And how much inspiration can you take from that to think where you could take it if it can be successful in home sport?
Yeah, I'm thinking back to that time. We were all fans, obviously it's the summer and, we're playing cricket, but we're all football fans as well and England fans. So being part of the I suppose, supporters in that time, you could just feel the country getting behind them and the excitement. I mean, putting yourself in, when they win, putting yourself in their shoes and just thinking, oh my gosh, that could actually be us.
Yeah.
So allowing yourself to dream about that, I suppose, is an experience that I guess everyone hopes for in their cricket career to be able to lift a World Cup trophy. But yeah, what a privilege it would be to be able to be in that final and to be able to compete for the trophy. So yeah, we'll hopefully be taking some inspiration from the Lionesses and the Red Roses as well, see with their World Cup win. So yeah, what a time for women's sport, and hopefully we can, I suppose, be the next group, the next team to be able to do it.
What about your personal workload? There were concerns, just as there were with Ben when he took over captaincy of the men's team. But as a top order batter and a premier all rounder, and the captain, are you? Is that all? You seem to be coping very well indeed. There's also, franchise cricket to fit in, and a Test match at Lords. I've got to ask you about that as well. What a massive occasion!
Yeah, I guess that was something that I thought about quite a lot when taking over, I suppose. But I try to take things in my stride and try not to let it look like it's affecting me on the outside. So hopefully that's still the case. Yeah, there is obviously a lot that goes on to into leading your country and preparing for a big tournament like this. So yeah, I suppose making sure I have that space for my own mind. But I mean, Theo helps with that. I'm not really thinking about tactical side of things when changing a nappy or something like that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it is a big workload, but I mean, it's such a privilege to be able to be in this position. And I absolutely love being an all-rounder and I guess trying to be the workhorse of the team as well. I mean, taking inspiration from Ben and how he's done it is just, you can see how much it takes out of him, especially in a test match. And yeah, I mean, to be willing to put yourself on the line for that, for your country, yeah, what a privilege it is to be able to do that. And yeah, so I love doing it, really.
Now, how do you reflect on sort of the last 12 months with Charlotte Edwards? There was change. Obviously, you became captain. Charlotte became coach. Last 12 months, and then looking forward to not just the 100 days, but taking England forward as a duo, as captain coach.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you say, that a lot has changed. I mean, it was after a tough Ashes series. Obviously, we had a few changes. So yeah, I suppose trying to not pick the team up, but make sure that everyone, still has confidence in themselves. And yeah, in that we sort of changed a few things, I suppose, in the way that we want to work as a group, not necessarily on the pitch, but just being really open and honest, and I suppose open to challenge. It's obviously being uncomfortable is uncomfortable, but that's, I suppose, the best way that we can learn about ourselves and about our skills. So yeah, I suppose willing to do that, but that has to start from the top, really. And so I suppose allowing myself to be vulnerable in front of other people is something I can lead by example by doing. So yeah, in the last 5 months we haven't really been together as a whole group yet. So yeah, we've got some work to do when we do get together.
Now, I know you've got a busy schedule, but I must ask you about Australia. What is it about their continued success? Every team likes to do things their own way, but you can learn from the best, I suppose. And I also have got to ask you about Elisa Healy and her last game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Australia have been a thorn in our side since I started playing, really. I mean, yeah, what a successful team. I mean, they have they have the privilege of having a lot of all-rounders in their side, so they can pick from 6, 7, 8 bowlers at any time, who are also in their own domestic teams top order batters. So I suppose having that balance has helped them a lot. They also seem to I suppose have this mentality: if someone else isn't doing it, the people that are out there, they'll be the ones to take the team forward. And I suppose their team has been quite experienced for a number of years now. But like you say, with Alyssa Healy retiring, that will leave a little bit of a hole in their side. And I suppose their experienced players that are left will have to take over. But I mean, personally, I'll be glad to see the back of her. To be honest, she's always trying to whack me out of the park. So it'd be nice not to have to bowl to her. But I mean, what a career she's had in her last ODI, getting such a big score. I mean, we saw that in the 50 over World Cup in New Zealand. That's her previous best scorers against us. So yeah, we've been on the receiving end of innings like that. And yeah, I mean, she can go out with a bang, can't she? A home series in her own country. I mean, not every international cricketer gets to do that. Sort of have a farewell tour. So I hope she can enjoy her last game, the Test match at the Wacker, and go out with a bang.
Just finally from me now, I mentioned Test matches. Manners mentioned it a little bit earlier, but you got a Test match at Lords. I mean, I'm fortunate to play in quite a few Test matches at Lords. When they say there's no place like home, there's no place like home. And what's that going to mean, playing a Test match at Lords?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that is something that I didn't think that we were ever going to be able to do, to be honest. Obviously, having watched a lot of cricket growing up and a lot of Test matches played at Lords, you know how much it means to the players. So yeah, to get that chance to play at the best ground in the world, a Test match, what an occasion that'll be. We've had some brilliant matches at Lords, with the World Cup final in 2017. So yeah, hopefully we can take those memories out there onto the pitch. But what a special occasion that'll be, and any tips are welcome.
Enjoy lunch.
Don't be batting during lunch.
Don't be batting straight after lunch. And if you can bowl the last 2 or 3 overs just before lunch, you might get an extra 20 minutes after just to digest it.
Perfect.
That's the best tips. Forget the slope. That's the best tips for me.
Nat, thank you so much for your time. I know you've just had a camp cancelled in Abu Dhabi. I'm not going to ask you to comment on the world's geopolitical situation, but you do have some cricket in May coming up against New Zealand, don't you?
Yeah, that's right. And a little T20 series before the World Cup against India. I guess we're still working behind the scenes to find somewhere that we can go for some sort of warmer weather practice. But yeah, we haven't heard anything yet. So whenever I suppose we hear any news or whatever it is, we'll be trying to make the most of it. Like I say, 100 days to go to the World Cup. So best be starting soon.
Right, it's time to speak to Yorkshire head coach Anthony McGrath. Lots and lots and lots to talk about, as there usually is with Yorkshire, and most of it's good news these days. Except that, apart from all your overseas signings and local signings and retentions, Mags, let's start with a bit of bad news. You were due to have a pre-season camp in the UAE, weren't you? And I don't think it's just you that isn't going to get there now. In fact, most people are trying to get out.
Yeah, obviously with what's going on in the world. Yeah, we were going on Saturday for a 2-week camp. I think ourselves, Durham, Notts and Somerset. So, it's pretty fluid at the moment. We're just trying to, firstly, get our players home safely from wherever they are, and then just make plans and, do what best we can really leading up to the season. So it's unfortunate, but there's more important things going on. So we just want, obviously, everyone home safe, and then we'll make a plan from there.
Mags, you finished 7th last year. I mean, how does the sort of, you go from finishing 7th in pre-season to get yourselves in a position to sort of challenge again, and your reflections on that last season going into this one?
Yeah, I mean, we had a bit of a tough start. I think the way we finished was really pleasing. The second half of the season, particularly in the Championship, we didn't lose a game. I think we were only 2 or 3 points off fourth. So obviously not what we want to be, but I think we showed, signs that we have got the core of a good team. I think for the players' point of view, to be fair, they've had a lot of change over the last few years. So another new coach coming in and new coaching staff, we probably asked them to do a few different things. So it probably took them a little bit of time to get used to that. And I think the pitches, Army, were the big thing. There's been a lot of draws at Headingley in the county championship the last few years. So we did leave a little bit more live grass on there just to make it carry. And we got some more results at Headingley, which was pleasing, but we came on the wrong side of a couple of them. So I think it's just making sure we get the best wickets possible, but also, it's entertaining for everyone who comes to watch.
Mags, let's just go through some of the new faces that fans will be looking forward to see. Jai Richardson and Logan van Beek have been signed for the first block of championship matches, I think. Mo Ali is going to be an exceptionally exciting addition for the Blast. And James Wharton, Jack White, Matthew Reeves been re-signed. So there's I don't know. Talk us through the thinking behind the overseas signings and how it feels to sort of retain some of your most talented younger players on sort of long-term contracts.
Yeah, I mean, one of the main things going into the off-season, we were probably short in depth seam-wise, so that's the idea behind quite a few of the overseas. We lost Jordan Thompson and Matt Milnes, who were obviously 2 big experienced players for us. So to get someone of Jai's reputation, I know he's had some injury problems last couple of years, but he's really exciting, and I think he'll be a big addition for us. Logan's obviously played quite a lot of county cricket and very useful with the bat as well. So I think the 2 we've lost there, that comes in and kind of replaces them. And then, on the white ball signings and the retentions, I think, we probably knew we had a little bit of work to do 12, 18 months ago, and we just want to try and make the depth of squad the best we can possibly be. And I think we're keeping our, young up and coming players on longer contracts. An addition of Sam Whiteman, who gives us some experience. I think, it looks pretty exciting on paper, going into the new season.
Mags, you've got a lot of young players, and they're all bats. Where's the bowlers gone? Growing up playing against Yorkshire, it would be no fun for you lot in the nets. But every time you turned up, you'd have Esso going. You'd see which 4 are playing, and Esso would be standing on the sideline going, "We've got 4 better than them. That's playing in the game." So where's all the bowlers gone? Not just in Yorkshire, but just in general, because you're in the coaching system. And you scratch your head around now and find a core group of fast bowlers where you growing up at Yorkshire, you had 1 million. Where have they all gone?
Yeah, it's a good question. Wasn't just Yorkshire as well, wasn't it? You'd come to Durham in the V8 and I'd around the country. So I think everyone's searching for, seam bowlers and quality seam bowlers. I think some of it's a little bit of a cycle thing, but I just think, where the game is now, the shorter form of the game, getting lads to running day in, day out in red ball cricket is hard yakka. And I think sometimes the decision's made to protect them pretty early on, and you don't see that robustness or them coming through as quick as the ones did, because you'd always see when we played, didn't you, 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old that come from nowhere, few of them with a ball, whereas you don't see it as much now. Having said that, we have got 2 or 3 lads coming through who are in around that age now, who are all 6'5", 6 plus, got a bit of pace, got some good skills. So, we're really trying to not just fast track them, but get them involved with our professional squad as well. So that's some good news on the horizon going forward for us.
Mags, old chestnut for you. But on the subject of Jai Richardson's signing, there is yet again talk about the validity of signing Australians in an Ashes summer. He could well be part of Australia's next Ashes squad, given the age of some of the big names. So there's that old chestnut. And also on the subject of international cricketers, how much are you expecting or hoping to have of Joe and Harry in April and May?
Yeah, well, firstly on the overseas, I mean, I just think in any sport, you see it in the Premier League and county cricket, it's no different. We want the best players playing because it helps the competition, not just the quality, but the eyes on it as well. And yes, you could say Australia or whoever country send the players over, but it helps our players as well because they get a good look at them. They're playing with better players. You know, you look at the IPL, yes, it's helped loads of foreign imports earn a lot of money, but look at the young Indian players come through and what they've got from it. So I'd rather see a more of a positive spin on it. And, you know, like, let's make our competition as good as possible. And let's get our England players playing it as well, because then it'd be a really good competition. So that's where I stand on that. And then with Harry and Joe, obviously Harry's busy at the moment with T20. So we're hoping to see both of them at some point. Obviously, Harry's been busier than most in every format. So we'll have to see how his workloads are and how England decide. But I'm hoping that we'll see a little bit of both. But I haven't got a guarantee answer for you, unfortunately, as yet.
Yeah, I mean, a simple answer from the Australian, and how good a player would you have been without Darren Lehmann? I mean, we had Mark Stoneman and one or two other young players feeding off Michael DiVinito. I mean, it's only an argument when we get beat the way we get beat. Yeah. So I mean, it's crazy. And as a coach and a director of cricket, it shouldn't be your problem or your issue. And I sometimes find that is it's an easy thing to say, but actually when people start to scratch the surface, the ability of the overseas player can make English cricket so much better, as long as obviously they're the right overseas player. And we'll see how Jai Richardson goes. Another influential person, Mags, big signing for you. What it's going to be like to have Mo and Ali in your dressing room along with Adil Rashid. Amazing.
Yeah, I think it's a brilliant signing for the club. I really do. I think Yorkshire have struggled in T20. There's no shying away from that, and we were disappointing last year. So, I thought we needed probably 4 areas to fill. One was certainly a top 4 or 5 batsmen who could bowl, and Mo's certainly that. A couple of power play and death bowlers, which we have, and an all-rounder. So to have Mo as being one of the best white ball players England have produced recently, not just his playing ability, but what he'll bring to our younger group, because we have got a younger group, who played last year. And if you can't learn off someone like that, then you're struggling. So he, gives us that left-hander in the middle. Like I said, he's bowling, everything that comes with it, and he's a great man as well. So it is so exciting, and we were, delighted that he chose Yorkshire really in the end.
Mags, what does the club feel like after the last 3 years? I mean, it's been tumultuous, it's been controversial, it's been upsetting, there's been anger. Has the bruising subsided? What does it feel like?
Yeah, it's a difficult one for me because I've been away for 10 years, so I can only really comment on the last 18 months. But inevitably when that happens, there is a lot of change, but a lot of unrest and ill feeling and all them kind of things. So it takes time, obviously. But from my personal point of view, I've loved it. I think there's some great people at the club. There really is, who just want to do the best for Yorkshire. And look, we all want to be better in all areas. And I know the club are trying so hard, to get back and be, a beacon in the community and all them kind of things. And we know that we've got a bit of a way to go, but I think from my point of view, which is the cricket, which you have a little bit of a control over, we're just trying to be, the best we can be. And hopefully we can continue to go on that upward curve.
Mags, we've seen a hell of a lot. I mean, Manners has seen more than me and you, but we've been around for quite a while. We've seen the ups and downs of county cricket. You've been a player, senior player, coach, captain, the whole lot. Throughout your experience, I know what happened in the winter with Australia and the Ashes, and you get all these suggestions. But if the county cricketer, what's it like in the dressing room when you've been playing? When the England players come back, what's it like being as a coach when you get your England players being back? And how important is it that these England players do play county cricket to give them the best chance and fulfilling their skill sets at international level?
It's huge because, I mean, I know there's so much, talks around how good county cricket is, does it serve a purpose? But everyone who's playing for England's come through the county system at some point. They always have and they always will. And we'll go back to overseas players. They love coming over and playing here. If they didn't think it was a good competition, people like Steve Smith, Labuschagne, we had Mayank, we had Abdullah last year, we had Will O'Rourke, so they're wanting to come and play red ball cricket. So that shows you what the competition's like. But to have our England players, obviously they're the example for our young players coming through. So anytime we get Adil, Harry or Joe back, and they all, want to play when they can, it's massive for us. But it's big for the competition because you want your England players playing in your domestic comp. You really do. So, yeah, as coaches, senior players, we've had Johnny back, Johnny Bairstow, which has been brilliant. He's kind of fallen out of his England contract, but he's been so passionate to play, and you can just see the impact that has on the younger players. To play with someone like Johnny Bairstow, who's played over 100 times in every form, it's huge. So we need the England players to come and play, and we need a bit more positivity than the negativity because, you can throw a stick at county cricket, but it can't be blamed for other teams' performances. It's just ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, look, we want to help the England team, of course, because we want the national team to do well, and we've all got players from our own counties in there. But it needs to be a better partnership for me. It needs a bit of help, and slagging each other off is not going to help. We need to find a way to make it work, be more efficient, and make England as good as it can be, as well as making the county strong.
Mags, finally, I know you don't have to do warm-ups and warm-downs anymore, but clearly the fire and the enthusiasm still burn very deeply in you, don't you? You still got your love and passion for the game.
Absolutely, yeah. I love it, honestly. I think I've been lucky to play and then to coach now and be still involved. But yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a cheesy cliche, but I love the coaching part of it. I just got the bug straight away, and to be back at Yorkshire now with the team we've got, it's just really exciting. So I'm, honoured, really, I guess, to be in this position, and don't want to waste that opportunity.
Indeed. You've been listening to Following On with me, Neil Manthorp, alongside former England fast bowler Steve Harmison. We'll be back at the same time next week or a similar time to look back at the T20 World Cup final and a whole lot more. But for now, this has been another edition of Following On.